Good morning, and welcome to another episode of Coffee with the Commission. I'm Vaughn Poe, the Executive Director of the Alabama Real Estate Commission, and we're very appreciative of having you with us today. I am joined this morning by Ms. Wendy Alcar, the new Assistant Director of the Alabama Real Estate Commission. Good morning, Wendy.
Good morning.
How are you?
I'm doing great this morning. Thank you.
Excellent, excellent. Before we get started, folks, I would like to remind you that if you have a question, please use the raise your hand icon. You'll be acknowledged. At that point, you can speak, unmute yourself. When you're finished, please mute yourself again so that our other attendees have an opportunity to comment as well. Thanks again. And again, please, if you have questions, ask them. So, Wendy, welcome.
Thank you. Thank you. I'm excited to be here.
We're glad to have you. Tell us a little bit about yourself.
Sure. Thank you for everyone being here this morning to let me introduce myself to those of you who have been in Alabama for a while. I am new here, so I've been with the commission for just over 30 days now, Vaughn. So really new in this position. I bring, in my professional career, I bring 17 years of experience in real estate regulation to AREC when I came to this position. My last job was as the deputy director for the Kansas Real Estate Commission. So I'm very familiar with what is done at the agency here, but just not maybe how it's done here. It might be a little bit different than my experience. So I'm excited to be learning those processes and procedures. I do want to say that I really enjoy real estate regulation. It's something close to my heart. I have a high respect for the real estate licensees who provide services to the people in the community. And I also think that responsible oversight is very important for such an important industry that we regulate, real estate.
Absolutely so. Well, do you have any family?
I do have family. I've been married for 30 years, almost 30 years, to my husband, Andrew. He is retired military. And so we were in Kansas for, I'm going to say like 24 years, the last 24 years. And we were just kind of ready for a change. And so that's really what brought us here, is just ready for a new adventure. And this job presented itself, and here we are.
We have the adventure for you. So,
wonderful.
You mentioned your career and the spans of time. Being a regulator, what did you do prior to in real estate? Do you have any affiliations with the Realtors Organization or anything like that?
Yeah, so many years ago, I won't say how many, we'll just go with many, years ago, I was a salesperson and a realtor member in the state of Alaska. So that was a few years ago, but I do have fond memories of that time in my life. And as a realtor member, the resources and the support that was given to me from the association was a priceless just something that I really value, and really brought the services that I could provide up to a new standard.
Okay, wow, that's very interesting. So, in all the things that you've done, what would you say is your most memorable moment as a regulator?
Oh my, that's a tricky question. Memorable. Well, let's see. I would like to come back to that. Is that okay? I was not expecting that question, but I do appreciate it. So
absolutely,
yeah, if we can come back to that one, that would be great.
So in real estate regulation, there are a lot of nuances in practice between jurisdictions. If you were to make an assessment of what you've seen so far here in Alabama and what you experienced there in Kansas, are there any similarities, differences, or close resemblance or space?
That's a great question, Vaughn. So, I've been here such a short time, but I will tell you that the culture here at the Alabama Real Estate Commission is something that I have noticed, and it's something that I'm used to from my experience in Kansas. The staff here is just incredible. They really care about what they're doing and the services that are provided. The underlying goal is to get licensees trained and to help them give better services to their clients and customers. And so I just really appreciate that here, and am looking forward to just expanding on that and making good services for the licensees.
Okay. Well, being as new as you are, but being very assertive in your leadership style, what is your vision for the office that you're walking into or have walked into?
In Alabama, things are a little bit different, and I'm really trying to get up to speed on the laws, the differences between what I've seen in Kansas and what happens here in Alabama. But really just looking at streamlining processes so that we can be more efficient in executing the services that we provide, and also working with other stakeholders to make sure that our laws are there to protect the public, but also they're not unreasonably burdensome for the licensees who need to work in this industry.
Okay, very interesting. I know in our initial conversation you mentioned your journey to where you were, and it was very interesting, even within the regulatory body. Could you talk a little bit about how you started, where you started, and how you grew?
Sure. So in regulation, I started with the Kansas Real Estate Commission, as I said, 17 years ago. I started as an investigator.
Oh, wow.
So yeah, I did. I started as an investigator, and I absolutely just loved reading the stories that people would send in, and trying to figure out what really happened in the real estate transaction that caused that person to send in a complaint. And many times we found that it was not the licensee that caused an issue. It was maybe a miscommunication, or it was someone else, an inspector or someone else involved in that real estate transaction. And so getting down to the bottom line on what happened, that really started my passion for real estate regulation.
Okay.
Getting to know the laws and the way that it works kind of on the legal side of things versus the selling side of things was very, very interesting to me.
Wow.
And I was really lucky. Throughout my career, I just kind of every couple of years, I just took a step up and ended up as the deputy director there, and just absolutely value the time that I had with Kansas.
That's very exciting. Very exciting. We're excited to have you here with us.
Thank you.
Are there any questions out there from licensees or attendees for Wendy?
Vaughn, if you don't mind, I would like to mention when we were talking about the Realtors Association, I was recently appointed to one of NAR's committees. I will start on the NAR Professional Development Committee in December, so I'm really excited about that appointment. It's something that will just it's just really exciting to me to be a part of that and be so close to the Realtor Association.
So how did you land on that committee?
Well, let me start by saying it's going to be a busy year. I don't know how many people are familiar with the Association of Real Estate License Law Officials, which is ARELO, which Alabama is a member of. The Alabama Real Estate Commission is a member of. So is Kansas. So is Kansas. I shouldn't say was. A few months ago, I was appointed as president-elect for ARELO to serve in 2025, which will then move me up to president in 2026.
Very exciting.
Very exciting.
So ARELO president-elect and NAR committees.
Yes, I will be busy.
Very busy.
Yes, sir.
Absolutely so. Any questions out there from attendees? Oh,
Yeah.
There you are.
There we go. Thank you. Hello, I just wanted to say hi from Kansas. And my question is, what has been what is your favorite part of your job so far?
Thank you, Amber, for the question. And hello, by the way. It's great to hear your voice. My favorite part of my job so far is really getting to know the staff. It's an incredible staff here. I can't say that enough. They have been so welcoming and warm, and just helping me get to know the processes and the way things work around here, because it is very different from state to state. And so even though I understand the mission and the goals and the things that we do, the how to do them is the challenge for me at this point. So it's been very helpful. And I'll tell you, I was very spoiled in Kansas. The staff there is incredible. So to come here and see that here also, it is just very refreshing.
Wow.
I'm very excited about that. Thank you for your question, Amber.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you.
Other questions out there? No questions? So you mentioned the staff. And so, of course, I'll have to chime in at that point and just really remind licensees and attendees that this was a renewal year for us.
Yes.
And so renewal years are very, very challenging. They're very daunting for the staff. In addition to our normal workload, we're renewing licenses. This year we had roughly about 43,958 licenses that were renewed. We had challenges in that, of course. We've talked about some of those with licensees, but I think renewal cycles always bring challenges. There are always nuances in the industry and just the way processes work. And so we try and navigate those, but you're coming on board at the end of a renewal cycle. And so now we have folks that are renewing late, but it will be very interesting to understand and appreciate the challenges of the next cycle as well. So having said that, we normally have trends in any cycle and just in normal operations of a real estate commission and of any regulatory body. And one of the things that we've seen here over the years is a violation that's sort of not unnoticed, but licensees have difficulty in overcoming it, and that is bad checks. Bad checks are prevalent during renewal cycles because we have a higher volume, but in general, each month on the commission's docket, we have at least between 5 and 10 bad check cases. And we really have tried to educate our licensees about bad checks and deficient payments and how they happen and that sort of thing. But nonetheless, we still receive bad checks every day. And so that's something that we hope to address in legislation next year to hopefully resolve. But it's just one of those nuances that happens. And, people can make an online, licensees can attempt making online payments and have a miscue on the key punch or keystroke. The payment is entered incorrectly. As far as we're concerned and the state is concerned, it's a bad check or bounce check. And then we have a process that has to begin at that point. In renewing licensees, you would hope that qualifying brokers are educating their agents to be mindful of these things. But this is a licensee issue, not necessarily a leadership issue. And we're just really trying to help licensees sort out those small things that are causing issues for them, because we want them transacting real estate.
Absolutely.
I mean, the last thing that we want is for licensees to have to come here and answer to the commissioners regarding a bad check. Unfortunately, it's still in our statute, and that's just something that we'll have to address down the road. I will ask, let's see, is there anything that's just basic you want to share with licensees?
Yes, thank you, Vaughn. I did want to make sure that I mentioned today that I really enjoy talking to licensees and trying to figure out any way that the staff here can help them in the important work that they do for the state of Alabama. And so if you have any questions for me, please feel free to give me a call. I'm very accessible. I would enjoy just saying hi and getting to know you. And so that's one of the things that Vaughn and I have talked about is having me go out around the state and visit with licensees. And so that's something that we're going to be working on. And I'm very excited about that. That's one of my favorite things to do is to get out and just hear it from the people that are working it every day.
That is so important. We've tried to build open lines of communication and good communicative relationships with our licensees, because we're here in Montgomery and they're everywhere. And so if we only stay here, they never have access to us. And the only time they interact with the commission is when there's an issue. And so we really want to sort of nullify that by getting out, being proactive, being preemptive, and talking to our licensees about what they need out there. I will say this as a caveat, that community is growing again.
Wonderful.
We track our new license applications per day. That gives us a metric to tell how the license community is growing or shrinking. During COVID-19, I think we were up to about 15 or 20 new license applications per day. Since that time, that has diminished a bit. It went down to about, I think, 6 or 7 new license applications per day. And it was reported to me on yesterday that we're currently back up to 12 new license applications per day in November. So the month of September, we had 12 new license applications per day. And so we're watching that trend now where more folks are applying for their real estate license. And that's industry driven. It's industry driven. It's not something that we control, but it is interesting to see the why of license activity and why folks are coming into real estate as opposed to those that are now inactive or are leaving the practice.
Mhm.
And so there's a delta there in the middle where you have a functional and operational licensee community, and we just have to track it so that we can, at least anticipate the size of the regulatory effort that will
Sure.
be needed. So that's always a good thing to forecast. Anything else?
I really don't have anything else. I'm just really excited to be here, and I hope that, licensees will know that I come from a background of real estate, and so I know what it's like to be out there. I do have that industry knowledge that I bring with me, and so, even though I am a regulator, I really do want licensees to know that we are here to help, and that's our overall goal. And so please don't be afraid to ask your questions. That's how we learn. Trust me, I've asked a lot of questions in the last 30 days, and I'm sure some staff is like, oh gosh, here she comes again. But that's just how we learn, is to ask those questions and find out what we need to be doing. So
Absolutely.
Please reach out.
Absolutely. So, and we appreciate the openness. In closing, I would like to remind you all that the commission hearing is tomorrow morning at 9 a.m. here in Montgomery. If you are so inclined, or if you're in the area, please stop by to join us. You're welcome to do so. The hearing is open to the public. On a second note, if you are a respondent coming before the commission, I would like to remind you to be very attentive of your attire. The commission hearing is a very professional setting. The commissioners are professionally dressed, and they expect respondents to dress accordingly. So if you're one of those folks that's coming down to be a respondent in the case, please dress appropriately. Again, if you have any questions for the Real Estate Commission or myself or Wendy, we can be reached via telephone at area code 334-242-5544. Our handle on social media is AREC Alabama Gov, one word. We're on Instagram, YouTube, X, Facebook, and we have a website. Of those social media platforms, YouTube has a lot of videos and vignettes that focus on questions that licensees have asked over the years. After we have a certain volume of questions come in, clearly that's a concern across the licensee community, and so our CPR team will create a video and post it to Facebook, post it to YouTube. So that static data and those videos are out there. Please subscribe to our YouTube channel. Check those things out. If you have any questions or concerns whatsoever, please give us a call here at the Real Estate Commission. Our next Briefly Legal will be in February, the third Wednesday in February. I think it's the 3rd. I don't know. What's the date? The 3rd, 13th? I can't see. It's the 3rd Wednesday in February.
Okay.
I could take these off.
It will be on the calendar.
It will be on the calendar.
There we go.
Briefly Legal is very good as well. It's a great interactive way that we have licensees interact with our legal division. I think Starla had one a few days ago, and they're very good, very informative. We try our best to close the feedback loop as much as possible, and having live broadcasts is one way we do that.
That's excellent. A great resource.
Oh, it really is. It truly is. And licensees have the opportunity to not only interact with us, but ask questions and have immediate answers, as opposed to sending an email, waiting on the email to be responded to, and that sort of thing. But again, thank you all so much for joining us. If there are no further questions out there, please enjoy your week and have a great one.